Welcome back, Love Stylers. I'm Misty. Today we're going to be talking about 5 secrets that I use for a better or healthier self-image. I don't think it's talked about a lot in the diet community. This is not going to be a video about food today. Check out my other seasons for that. Check out another carnivore or keto channel for that. Today is a little more spiritual, a little more personal. So we know that you're worth it. I'm worth it, and everybody else is worth it too, to live a great lifestyle by making tiny, tiny changes day by day. So that's what this channel is all about. So if it's your first time here, welcome home to Love Style. Pull up a chair, go on your walk, give me a shot, hit like, subscribe, and listen to my other videos if you want. We talk a lot about how I live a 90% carnivore lifestyle and how I love this. So of course I'm not a doctor, but I have learned after all these years to trust myself sometimes. And this is not medical advice in any way. This is just my story. At 52 years old, I realize I cannot behave the way I used to in my 30s or even 40s or even 20s. So here we are today. I just beat cancer recently. I've had to make some changes that I am a little bit uncomfortable with, like going back on medication after bragging on this channel about not needing medication. So that is going to be very temporary. I'm going to say that now because I'm going to make sure that happens. And I feel that that's best for me. But there are times in our life when we do not feel our best. When our self-image is less than 100%. And it could be from so many things that have happened in our lives. It's normal. It's okay. And especially if you're in your midlife like I am, you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, I can change this anytime I want. So it's never too late. You're worth it. I'm worth it. Let's do this. I would also like to add that the first step I made on my better health journey a couple years back was getting rid of alcohol out of my life. I took alcohol out of my diet. And you don't really hear people talk about alcohol being part of your diet. It's never included and it's never recommended. So for me, I could never have one drink. So if I can't have 6 drinks, I don't want any. If you're anything like me, you might think about that first. I also went on keto and then over to carnivore a couple years later, a lot of fasting in between. And I just enjoy every day that I'm on this planet. My first tip for a healthier self-image, from my experience, is to own your accomplishments. And I wonder if you ever really do on a regular basis. And you might be like, well, Misty, that's like bragging, isn't it? Well, no. And I'm going to give you some examples here today. Own your accomplishments. Even let me know in the comments what you are proud of that you have achieved. And let's just name some stuff in case you don't think it's an achievement. And I will give you permission today to call it an achievement, but own your achievements or accomplishments, meaning you might have become a better cook as you're getting older. Like Andrew told me, you couldn't cook for shit when you were in your 20s, nor did you even try. So I know now I can cook like a mofo. So I got that down. You might be very good at something, and I would still love to know what you are very, very good at, or what you have accomplished that was difficult, that was easy, that was maybe easier for you than somebody else, but it's still yours. Own it. It's yours. Parenting cannot be easy. I am not a parent, but I know from being in a family and looking around at the world that being a parent is an accomplishment, especially a caring one who cares about how things are going to end up for your children. This also applies, of course, as being a daughter. Now, I'm a daughter, and my mom and I get along great. Now, that was not always the case, and then we've had our ups and downs, but being a good family member to siblings, a good cousin. I just recently kind of rekindled a relationship with my cousin, and we had lost touch over the years, both doing our own lives. Putting family as an important thing to remain loving, forgiving. I give you permission today to be your own greatest fan. So whether it's you getting a degree, staying on your diet, you may have lost weight, you may paint like Picasso, you may be writing a book or getting into some hobbies that you find challenging, like I'm trying to do right now. I always thought, well, Andrew is the songwriter in this musical duo we have going on. I'll talk about that later. I've been a musician since I was 3 years old, but I've never been a songwriter until the last few years. To give your self-image a boost, list your accomplishments on a paper, on a list somewhere, and post it on your fridge, post it on your mirror where you can see it now and then, or near your desk at work, and own them. You have put in the work it took to get to where you are today. And this could be learning a new sport. This could be going to the gym more often than you used to, or going to the gym at all. I know some people won't even step into a gym. Now for me, I make sure that I walk every day if it's not raining or it's not too hot. And then I have an alternative choice if it is too hot or raining to do some kind of exercise. So I'm just throwing that out there. That's an accomplishment for me. There's a gym that I used to go to, and I can't say I'm all that comfortable in a gym, but there used to be a bulletin board where if you went to the gym 20 to 30 times in 1 month, you would get your name put up on this board. Well, I said, this month I'm going to get my name on there, even if I'm in last place, which I was. But I had gone to the gym 20 days out of 30, and I felt so good that I really focused in on it. And I know it seems small probably to you guys, but there was something that I just felt like I couldn't do until I convinced myself I could. You may have decided, I don't want to work. I'm going to live on a budget and be able to still have a nice lifestyle. That could be your accomplishment, which I'm kind of running into now. I've been recently laid off, and I'm starting to enjoy a different type of lifestyle. And it's a little bit tricky for me because I always feel like I have to be doing something to be worthy of living on this planet. So some of my accomplishments are actually relaxing a little bit and kind of enjoying the new freedom that has come into my life to concentrate on doing YouTube and writing my songs that I never used to write, and a lot of other things that I'm working on. You know, confidence is very sexy. There's nothing sexier than confidence. And I just want to add, if you haven't been feeling so sexy lately, and most of us don't feel sexy unless we look perfect, the confidence that comes from the inside of you, that comes out and it's around you, your aura is magnetic, comes from owning your accomplishments. And I really want to know what yours are. I even started painting, which is like a weird one, like, oh, Misty, you know, child's play, you paint, whatever. Like, are you selling your paintings? No, I do it for enjoyment. But I get to look at it after and say, you know what, for someone who's never touched a brush, I kind of like my paintings. And that's an accomplishment where I tried something new. And that could be an accomplishment. Starting to look at your health could be something you might have been afraid to do, like I was for years, till about 6 or 7 years ago. I didn't even want to look at my health. That could be considered an accomplishment, that you are paying attention to your health these days. Another accomplishment of mine that I just have to use examples here, guys, is I got off a bunch of medication I was on years ago. Now I've had to go back on some others because of this cancer scare, but I'm proud of the fact that I took myself off of those medications by using diet in a natural way. Fasting was a great deal of help. So I was very proud that I could fast for days on end, something I had never tried until a few years back. So I hope some of these examples are hitting with you right now. Another accomplishment may be that you're learning a new sport, or you were, even back in the day, it's still an accomplishment. Just because it's not happening now, you might have been, the star player on your basketball team, or you might have just made yourself try out for the team like I did in 4th grade, and I made the team. Just making the team was exciting for me. I wasn't definitely not the greatest player, but I'm trying to give examples of stuff you might not think are anything, but that are something. And I really think you should write them down on a list and put them somewhere where you're going to see them on a daily basis. And even if you just want to try being your own greatest fan for one day. I did this. I did this for myself. I said, I'm going to be my greatest fan today. So I looked up my name on Google just to see if I would come up as Misty Marcus. And there's a few others of us out there. Hi, Misty Marcus. But I came up and I was proud of the accomplishments. And I earned them. My band name came up. We had some interviews up on there and reviews of our band, Black Eyed Soul. Check us out. And some other writing gigs I had done and interviews. My YouTube channel popped up. And maybe a couple of other little things that I was proud of. And that gave me a boost that lasted for a couple of years. It's still in me. But I have to remind myself of this every day too, to own your accomplishments. Mwah! I'm proud of you. You did a great job. Please list them. Even if they're small, list them anyway. You also may have healed some mental, spiritual, or physical trauma that you may have had to deal with in the past, and you got through it. Injuries, physically, mental injuries, people putting us down, or teachers, or those authority figures. Parents even can do this without meaning to do so. You may have gotten over or forgiven in your mind some of the things that were said to you over the years, and that is an accomplishment. And spiritually, like me, I'm trying to get more into my spiritual side, and this video is an example of kind of owning the accomplishment I am hopefully coming across today as a spiritual video, not just a diet video. So that's hard for me because I'm comfortable talking about carnivore. But today I want to talk about a different topic. So I'm going to own that as an accomplishment. So nothing is too small, but you may have done some inner work, and that is definitely something to be proud of. My second tip for a healthier self-image is be selfish. Now, I know what you're thinking. Misty, if I was selfish, I would be laying on a beach and not working right now, or wiping my kids' ass, or taking care of my children. No, I mean being selfish in a healthy way by using self-care. So this kind of ties in with the whole theme of what we're talking about today. Some examples, like for me, a little bit of my self-care means taking a break. I don't like sitting around, and I'm uncomfortable with not doing things constantly, but I occasionally indulge in a bath with some Epsom salt where I'm in the tub for like 40 minutes. A bath to me is a form of self-care that I absolutely enjoy. I love it. So that's a good example. Or even reading a book. Maybe that is something that you don't get to do a lot of. Maybe you could talk to your husband, say, honey, I need 30 minutes to go and read or go and walk, or to talk to a girlfriend on the phone, or go out and have lunch with your girlfriends every now and then and have some me time, some girl talk, some me time, some self-care time. Doing your nails might be like something fun for you. Like sometimes I think it's fun to make sure my nails look nice, and that makes me feel a little bit more confident. And I'm using small examples here. Going to the salon might be a form of self-care. Nobody can just go 100% all of the time being a human doing. is not being a human being. And I'm going to get to that in a minute because that's one of my other tips. But we are constantly, especially older women, I feel like, we're constantly doing for parents, family members, giving advice for younger people, and we love to share. But sometimes I think we leave ourselves out of the equation. And I've noticed it. I've noticed it not only in myself, but I've noticed it around me. So I want to know something that you do that is a little bit selfish, a little bit because you need a little more self-care and me time. What I forgot to mention earlier is something that I do that's a little bit strange that I indulge in, and it's not food. Sometimes it's a treat. But in this case, it is listening to tarot card readings, following my horoscopes or predictions in the astrology world by watching videos about my sun sign, my rising sign, or my moon sign. I'm very, very into astrology. Let me know if you want to know anything about it because I know a ton. I like to indulge in learning about it. I think that that is almost like a medicine for me, to learn about something that I find fascinating. And so I will listen to ASMR as well. If you don't know what ASMR is, it's a very relaxing, at least for me, type of video or audio you can listen to. I will equate it to like the sounds of the dolphins, the sounds of the waves, to fall asleep. I use ASMR to kind of keep calm, or if I'm bored, and it gives you the little chills and the tingles sometimes if you're anything like me and sensitive to these kind of things. You might want to try ASMR. It's great if you have a little bit of anger in you, which some of us do. It's not good to keep it in your body. Resentment, anger. So allowing the selfishness to be a healthy type of selfishness that is going to just help everybody else around you is not so selfish after all. So please be selfish today. Share with us something you do to be selfish. I want to know. And I do want to point out too, I sometimes like to get my hair done, and that kind of boosts a little bit of confidence in me, or do my makeup or buy nice makeup. That is an indulgence that I find luxurious. Anything that makes you feel nice inside because you deserve to be happy. Another thing I do to be selfish is watch a sappy ass movie. I hardly ever let myself, and even me saying let myself sounds kind of funny because I always have to be doing something, of course, and I'm trying to work on that. Letting yourself watch a movie that you love, even if it's from the 80s. Like me, I love John Hughes movies. So I watched like The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles. Somewhere recently where I wasn't feeling great, and I said, I'm going to be selfish and allow myself to watch a 1.5 hour movie. You know, it's not the end of the world. Everyone's going to live if you're not doting on their every whim, but doting on your own whim and saying, I need a break. For me, watching a nice, sappy movie that makes me cry is kind of cleansing, indulgent, swimming in the emotions, but not taking it out on others, letting it come out. I think that could be really healthy. And so being selfish does not mean what everybody thinks it means. And I think you know what I'm saying here. I hope so. Because trust me, it will do wonders for your health. It will do wonders for your self-image in tandem with all of these other things you're doing to improve your life, of course. And my third secret to a healthier self-image is taking micro actions. Micro, meaning tiny. So everyone, when they hear about dieting, and I will talk about food here for a second, guys, just as an example, everybody thinks, oh, if I go carnivore, I have to just eat steak all day, and that's all I can have for the rest of my life. Wrong. Wrong. You're watching the wrong carnivore channels. Get off of those channels and come on over to Love Style if you want reality. I eat on a 90% carnivore diet, which means I eat meat, dairy, and eggs 90% of the time. Somebody asked me in the comments, what does that mean 90% of the time? And I had to kind of spell it out, but it felt good to be asked because they didn't really get it. So most of the time, you are good. That's what that means. Most of the time, you eat protein first. That's what that means. You include a lot of butter, bacon, eggs, and a lot of meat in your diet, first and foremost. So in a nutshell, let's take that off the table. You're making micro actions. You're taking micro actions towards a better life or lifestyle. That does not mean jumping in head first into something so extreme. So for example, that could mean for you, I drink 3 diet sodas a day. Taking one of those away and only having 2 and replacing one with the water. To me, that is a micro action that is going to train your brain, if you believe in any of this woo-woo stuff like I do, neuroplasticity, where you can change your habits by making the healthy habit your new habit, which we know is true because we've all done it every moment of our lives when we have to be flexible. So the micro means tiny. And so that could mean, okay, from now on, if you're just starting on your diet journey, I cannot eat refined sugar. I will replace it with stevia or something else, another sweetener like honey, just to start, because that is a micro adjustment. Because learning or unlearning your old habits is going to take a little time. Micro actions, I feel like, makes it seem so much more doable. It could be that you're just cutting out processed foods this week or just today, or even a meal at a time. You're removing just bread from your life this week to begin. And I'm sorry if I sound like Captain Obvious here. I added 1 hour to my sleep per day a couple years ago, and it's changed me. Just 1 hour of putting sleep first or putting it higher on the priority list than you may have in your past. That is a micro action. Another micro action is instead of losing, 10 pounds this month, we could say, I want to lose 1 pound in the next 2 weeks. Now, if you think that 1 pound of weight loss within 2 weeks sounds slow, I'm going to tell you, you're completely, absolutely out of your mind. 1 pound a week of weight loss is very, extremely, enormously fast. So 1 pound every other week is almost as fast, but it's a micro action that is very, very doable. It just sounds so much easier. I already know that I can do that. Instead of putting such a burden on yourself and such weight on your psyche, on your subconscious. Think about that for a minute. Weight on your back of a thought, of something you have to accomplish so quickly. That's not going to do much for you actually losing weight. Even the word itself will prevent it. So the micro actions are the way to go. And I say, if you don't know where to start, first of all, ask me in the comments. And another micro action is I've started to meditate. I can't do it every single day. I actually feel like it's a little bit of a chore. But I've been trying to do the 5 minutes, the 10 minutes of sitting quietly. And if you are confused about meditation and you think it's too far off the beaten path or out there a bit, I want you to reconsider and just sit quietly wherever you feel comfortable and do not speak for 5 minutes. Let the thoughts come in and let them go out, and do not judge them. Do not judge them, because you're going to have things from the past coming in, going out, things you wish you said, things you have to make dinner tonight, and all these crazy thoughts come in, or things that have been done to you that you're mad about still. They got to come out, guys. So when we start to make these adjustments, it's something I can't quite explain, but your life just gets better. So 5 minutes of sitting quietly in gratitude. You're just grateful. And you're forgiving. Sometimes I have to sit in forgiveness for 5 minutes. And it does a world of great for me. It just, everything feels lighter after. And when you start to feel lighter, your body just matches that after a while. And you become lighter physically. One of the micro actions I've been taking lately is learning the bass guitar. I am not good at all yet, but I'm learning my notes. I'm a recording artist, but I'm not a bass player yet. So I'm just plucking away here and there, learning my notes, trying to learn with Andrew, and that helps a little bit. And asking for help, by the way, is another micro action you can take. And if you're anything like me, you hate asking for help. We just hate it. We just hate it, some of us. And that's an ego thing. Asking for help might be something new to you. Maybe you never ask for help. Maybe you think you know everything. Maybe you're wrong. I hate being wrong, because I know everything, right? My fourth secret to a better or healthier self-image is to own your flaws. So the first one was own your accomplishments. This is the opposite, owning your flaws. And you might be like, well, Misty, like, I don't think we should concentrate on our flaws, because it's just going to make me feel so self-conscious, and I'm just going to like end up staying in the house all day. But you know that you're never going to be perfect, right? I think that's what she's trying to say, is maybe it's okay to be flawed. You don't have to accentuate on it for very long, but maybe it's a good thing if you know who you are. You can always make improvements, right? Yeah, but you don't have the flaws I have. I have a lot of flaws. So, of course, I'm going to be Captain Obvious with the flaws, because I have so damn many. Let's use the terms that are used nowadays. Big boned. When you got some extra weight on you, you're overweight. Oh, you're thick. Fine. Sounds a little better. Well, it runs in your family. You just have an overweight family. You're just built differently. You just have a weird body. Another thing for me, like with the flaws, I'm very talkative. I interrupt people. I'm trying to work on that. I need to be a better listener. We are a work in progress. You have to forgive yourself to a certain degree when you own your flaws for being a human. It's not easy to be in a human body if you believe that we are spiritual beings in a human flesh suit, which is what I believe. And owning your flaws as a human being can be very freeing and liberating and empowering. For example, I don't think I'll ever be that chick laying out in a bikini who's a size 2. I think I'm past that. Now, might I look average? Okay, I'll take that. Is that a flaw? Probably not. Average is right in the middle. It's neutral. But we walk around thinking we have to be perfect all the time, and I think it does us no good. I look around and I see lots of flaws around me and others. I've never met a perfect person yet in 52 years. So we all have this unhealthy, I believe, obsession with being perfect. I got laid off 2 months ago. I got cancer 2 months ago. I'm a carnivore and I got cancer? Like, how flawed is that? I thought I was taking care of my body. It still happens because I'm a flawed individual, just like you. I would like to see us change the language. I may be more curvy than the average vegetarian 20-year-old teenager or Barbie doll. I'm going to own those flaws. I look like a real woman. You may have a gut in the front like mine because you're in your menopausal age. I'm in my first year. It's been a little tricky, I'm not going to lie. But I'm going to try to shorten that as much as possible. But I still have a gut in the front that I can't even show you on camera. I'm too embarrassed. It's a flaw of mine. I'm vain. It is okay. Today is the day to start possibly making that change, making the micro adjustments that we were talking about. And I would love to be your cheerleader while we do this together. My 5th tip for a better self-image is just be. Just be. It's even hard for me to conceptualize this because I always have to be doing something. So back to this word again, being a human doing instead of a human being. Just being in the moment, being present is the hardest thing out of everything in my life for myself without moving around and accomplishing something, or at least feel like I'm accomplishing something. I'm usually running my mouth, which may not accomplish much at all, unless you're doing a YouTube video or a public speaker or whatever, or helping somebody. But just being in the moment can be challenging for certain personality types. And we can learn from the quiet people. I always wonder what the quiet people are thinking. Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe they hear more because they are not talking all the time. I'm just using that as an example because just being to me sounds boring. Just be, Misty. Sit when you meditate and just don't think. That's impossible for a Venus and Gemini like myself. We're all about communication, writing, speaking, moving, fast-paced, everything, ADHD, undiagnosed hyperactivity. Just thinking about it kind of confuses me. Like a sage, like these people who can meditate for hours. I am so curious how they do this. If you are not a human being, you are a human doing, which is totally me, the human doing part. But just sitting quietly, especially in meditation practices. Again, I can only do 5 minutes. Just being and allowing who you are right now. Do you know that you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now and throughout your life? Now, that sounds crazy to someone like me who I'm always trying to accomplish something. I just am so uncomfortable with stillness. But stillness is the divine speaking to you directly, God. You don't have to earn your keep on this planet or to be on this planet. You can just be. It's still radical to me to think of it. I like it though because it's got my mind thinking of other things. I walk a lot in nature, so I'm learning to just be okay with how everything is. Leaves are falling. It's raining. It's sunny. The naturalness of things coming and going in our lives, whether they're challenges, upheavals, or great things happening to us, just be in the moment. You're supposed to be here. You're supposed to experience this. You're allowing. So this is the hardest one for me on my list. To myself, you have something very unique for the rest of us that nobody else has. You can plan your future, but you can be okay where you are right this very moment. They say for better things to come into your life, you have to be okay with things now. So the vibration you're at and the frequency you reside in can match the frequency you want to reside in. It's a little bit woo-woo. We want to thank you for listening to Black Eyed Soul. We are a duo. My husband, Andrew, and I record right here in this room. And we've released several albums. Check us out on any streaming platform and even on YouTube, or go to blackeyedsoul.com, but only if you like good music. I'm just going to recap really quickly on the 5 secrets for a better self-image. And I'm going to look at my notes because I'm a flawed individual who cannot remember everything I wrote on that board right there. Number 1, own your accomplishments. List your accomplishments. I don't care how many there are. Number 2, be selfish, but only in a healthy way. Give yourself some me time. Realize sometimes you may get overwhelmed, and be selfish occasionally, even if that means cheating on your diet once in a while. Yes, I said it, carnivores. Number 3, take micro actions. Captain Obvious again. It's one thing a week, one thing a month, because you deserve it. And it's your birthright to be healthy and happy and be here for a while. The 4th one is own your flaws. Be who you are. Be proud of who you are right now. And if there is something that jumps in there as, well, Misty, I'm not perfect because I have fat and, I was an alcoholic and some of the things that I struggle with, I have to go, well, that's not me now, or that's not going to be me in the future. And my 5th, as a recap, for a better self-image, just be. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Thank you for tuning into Love Style today. I appreciate you so very much. Stick with me. I can be your spiritual diet cheerleader for a better living and a better self-image. Peace.